All right, this is a kind of a follow-up story. I'm still on that thing with New York because this is all relevant. So I showed you the video that showed that Saturn is Yahweh, right? So I'm looking through the other names, and it says Angel of the Lord, Malak Adonai. Adonai is also Adonis, which is the god of the deep or the abyss from the Greek. So let's see who this guy, Malak Adonai. This mysterious angel was treated as Yahweh himself. So here we have an angel that's acting as God. Now we know that God, he is not the creator in the way that's being used. Exercising divine prerogatives and receiving worship. So this guy is getting the same treatment that everybody else is. So let's look at the name, Malak. So I went and looked up Malak. Let's see what Malak is. Malak had started out as half angel, cousins to the ordinary mortals. Do you remember the video I did yesterday where Abraham said he saw 3 men? Okay, that goes right along with this. They started out as half angel, cousins to ordinary mortals, smarter, faster, and stronger. At one time, they had been on a fast track and a more potent evolution. They have wiped out humans as Cro-Magnon had wiped out his predecessors. It was simply the way of evolution. Over 3/4 of them were born androgenic hermaphrodite. Remember me talking about that? And I didn't even know anything about this, so it isn't like I'm saying, oh, see, I'm not going to tell you that I knew about this prior. So this is new for me. Of these 3/4, half would be able to reproduce either male or female. All Malak breeds had a distinct look and a scent, and these were used for recognition and breeding. In the beginning, there were 10 different types of Malak. Now, the word mal, in Latin, it means bad. Mal, like malfeasance, malconduct, malformation. But over time, they were consumed or considered as demons and monsters, so their second evolution began. Their sense became more elusive and the wings became more unseen. Only the ones who could hide what they were might manage to live long enough to find mates and produce children. If Malak couldn't hide what he was, he didn't survive and his bloodline was finished. But the scent always gave them way to another Malak. Even demi-Malak, which would be half human, half these, could pick up the odors if aware would have meant that different smell. Okay, so this goes right along with the story that I told you about the Locatai from the Abyss. In the story, they looked just like men, but they sat down and they ate with Abraham, and then they went in and they destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, just like they did Breezy Point, New York. So let's look at this. This is a recent news story. This is the middle of Chicago. These windows here are 6 inches wide. Okay, they're 6 inches wide. You can't get at them. Supposedly these guys tied sheets together from 200 feet up. I'm a tree trimmer, I'm telling you. You look out a window 200, that's over 20 stories. You look out that, you ain't climbing down it, especially on sheets, trust me. Here it says the Chicago police said hours later what appeared to be knotted at 6-foot intervals could be seen dangling from a window that the guy couldn't possibly get out of, okay? Let me tell you what this 6-foot interval shit is. A 6-foot interval, what they would do in the military, I was in the, I did time in the Navy. Okay? So what they did in the old days is to figure out how deep something was, they would take a rope and every 6 feet they would tie a knot. And each knot was considered a fathom, 6 foot long. So here they're telling you that these guys tied it at 6-foot intervals. So now we're talking maritime. Now we're talking water. Okay, where did I tell you? The Locatai, the Abyss. So now they're making sure that you know that it was in 6-foot intervals, so you know that this is a nautical term. Okay, now this happened supposedly between 5:30 in the morning and 8:30 in the morning in the middle of downtown Chicago. Nobody saw 2 guys hanging off the side of the building like Batman. So let's take a look at the one guy that they haven't caught yet. This was on the news this morning. First of all, we noticed that he's got red hair. That's the first thing. Okay, a lot of people got red hair. But what they go on to tell you is, and it's very important that you know that he has a devil tattooed on his arm. Okay? So here we have the red hair. We have the devil tattooed. But what's more interesting A lot of people got red. I got a brother with red hair, but if you followed my stuff, you know what I mean. There's a special bond between this particular redheads and another group. Let's take a look at this a little closer. Something's wrong here. First of all, this guy's hand is ape-like. You see this here? What's all this here? You see that? You see this here? What's this? That ain't no damn birthmark. The little finger is too stubby. It's just like a chimpanzee. This finger is way too long. Okay? This is not a human hand. You see this? This is the wrist of a chimpanzee. This is not the wrist of a monkey. That's more ape-like. Okay? So here's a little bit closer. Where's the wrist? There is no wrist. Monkeys are exactly like that. Humans' wrist gets thinner and then the hand starts to get wide again. But this is a hybrid. This is 100% hybrid. And so let's just take a look at this here. When Daniel asked the angel when the world would come to an end, look where the angel was addressing him. River, water. This angel, Malach Adonai, I looked it up. Genesis 9:16. Where did he meet Hagar, Sarah's maid? By a spring of water. You see, it's always these guys, the fallen angels, the one of the abyss, the ones I keep telling you. Let's go look in New York. The U.S. death toll climbed to 33. Many victims killed by falling trees. Biblically, angels or demons are considered three things: stars, stones, and trees. Okay, this isn't a joke. This is for real. This stuff is for real. This is this. Okay, this is this, and this is this. Okay, and this tells me that the cops are in on it, because the cops know god darn well, if any of you ever drove by a jail, the windows are 6 inches wide. You can go read it on any specs. Go look on Wikipedia. The windows are only 6 inches wide so that you can't get out. This is just saying, basically, that instead of them escaping from 200 feet up, these things to me are there's either 220 of them in the city, or they're 220 feet down off the coast of Chicago and Lake Michigan. There is no east side of Chicago. Chicago literally bulks up right next to Lake Michigan. So that's a prime target for these things. This isn't a joke anymore. This is for real. Look at the guy's hand. That's not a human hand. That's not a human wrist. Okay? I told you. I told you. You know, look, whatever fate is going to befall mankind, it appears to me like about every 2,500 years, they revamp the system and they get rid of the old system. Okay? They get rid of the old system and bring in the new model. And they use these guys to do the dirty work. And so under the cover of a storm, that's what happened. They burned that freaking place to the ground, destroyed the people that were in there, and wrote it off as a hurricane, even though the news announcer's telling you the cars are blowing up in 3 feet of water. Okay? I will tell you this. Something or somebody on YouTube, through somebody else that was channeling, told me, I was talking to whatever it was, and it said, if you saw what I looked like, it would scare you to death. And if you got too close to me, you would burn up. That's how hot that thing was. So if you don't think this shit exists, you better get this shit squared away in your head. This is a reality. It isn't a joke. And you better start piecing stuff together. I'm not sitting here making this stuff for fun. I want to go live out the rest of my life. You know, we're being set up to be eradicated so they can bring in the next stock. As it was in the days of Noah, so will it be in the coming of man. That's the new man. That's the new man, the one that's replacing us. Just like we replaced Cro-Magnon man. Go look at science. They don't even know what happened to them. They just seemed to magically disappeared and we showed up. Their explanation is we killed them off. I don't think so. I think something else did. Okay? And as Silver Red Indigo said, and she's a Hebrew, she said, if you want absolute good, you have to create absolute evil. In other words, out with the old, in with the new. and the going out is going to be real gruesome. So think about it.